What is it about first days? There's nothing quite like the energy and excitement of the first day of a trip, whether it's just a weekend or going for the whole week. All the preparation is done, you've left work stress back in the office, and all that lies ahead is the promise of new sights, new discoveries, and the instantly relaxing notion of escaping the world's realities for a while and just letting nature be your news.
So Jason, do you know roughly how many miles we'll be doing on dirt here on this trip?
Roughly it's like 300 miles.
First days are electric and uplifting. The first day of a trip may in fact be the best day of a trip, unless you're me. What is it about my first days? This past summer, the exciting and uplifting first day of my Eastern Oregon overland adventure went south, so to speak, when an unfortunate series of circumstances sent me on a wild goose chase across the southeastern Oregon desert, trying for hours to find my friends, until eventually I had no choice but to give up.
Anyway, it's not fun anymore.
What are the chances that on my second ever week-long overland expedition, something would again go awry on the very first day?
Hey Donald, I need to stop real quick. I just heard a big pop. I need to check it out.
Okay. You heard something?
Yeah, I've been in a major...
Ultimately, it's not important what went wrong with Jason's van. He'll be covering that soon enough in his own video. But the simple fact is, he cannot continue this voyage without some repair work.
We're gonna stop, make camp, clear our heads, and figure out what makes sense going forward. Well, here's our little camp. We're at the base of the hill. I'm gonna hike up there a little ways and see if I can get some cell service.
Jason and I are meeting back up right where we left off 3 weeks ago. We found a place to camp nearby. It's late at the end of what was a busy day for both of us, so no dinner to show you. But when we halted our trek a few weeks ago, we had ample time to do some cooking that evening. I'm making a simple but tasty garlic beef stir fry. Serving it over a bed of arugula keeps it grain-free and easy to digest, but still entirely satisfying. As we had 2 different first nights on the trail, we had 2 next mornings. They were each largely similar, with a cheery sunrise turning the desert plant life to shimmering gold. There is one notable difference here on our second first morning, as we only have Daisy with us and not Wheeler. In the weeks between our first and second attempts to make this journey, Wheeler passed away. He was well up in years and suffering from a number of ailments, but his presence is very much missed by all of us on this trip. It had been my pleasure to get to know Wheeler over the past year. He was the very definition of a good boy. A simple breakfast this morning of yogurt topped with Grizzly's Bee's Knees granola, some toasted hazelnuts and pecans, and finished off with some berries. Alright, camp is packed and we're ready for our first day back on the trail. Perhaps, given my history with first days, I should have called this our second day.
My battery's dead. Well, I must have left a few too many things running a little too long last night. It was bound to happen eventually. I've been doing a lot of solo travel without having any sort of a way to jumpstart the car, and that's really not a very good idea. Fortunately, today I actually have something to start the car again, I hope.
This is the Autowit SuperCap 2 jump starter. This was provided to me by Autowit to try out. My battery is genuinely drained here this morning. The car would not start.
This works a little differently than many jump starters. This actually is not a lithium battery. It contains a supercapacitor. It draws whatever residual power is still in your battery, charges up the supercapacitor, and then releases it in a surge when you start the car. See, it's got a little readout right on there. 31%, 32%, 33%, 50%. That's been, what, about a minute and a half maybe? This does also have a USB input, so if your car battery was absolutely completely dead, you could charge up the supercapacitor off of some other USB power source, such as the Jackery unit. So what's interesting about this concept is that there's no lithium battery, so A, you don't have to worry about making sure it's charged when you're out on your trips. B, you don't have to have any concerns about lithium battery fires. I think that's not as much of a problem as it used to be, but you know, it has happened in the past. So it's been 10-11 minutes now, still just at 96%. A lithium starter, obviously, you take it out, hook it up, start the car, and you're ready to go. So that is definitely a disadvantage of this system. I suppose it depends on just how dead your battery is. Okay, we're at 99%. It has been, I would say, almost 20 minutes. Would you say, Jason, it's been about 20 minutes?
About 20 minutes.
Yeah. All right, there's the beep. Now we press the start button, and it should give us a 10-second countdown timer. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Well, it did work. It took way longer than I thought it was going to, but at least I'm not stranded. So I got home 2 days ago. Car has been sitting in the garage ever since. I didn't follow my normal procedure of always leaving the dome lights off. I left the dome light on. Car's been sitting for 2 days, and I came out to start it and it would not start. So I am once again using the Autowit jump starter. But what I've noticed is the battery wasn't nearly as dead this time. I got some clicking when I tried to turn it over. I've had it plugged in here for maybe about 4 minutes, and that's it. It's already ready. So we're gonna press the button. Let's get that off of there. We'll press the start button. Listen to the countdown. Okay. Fair enough. Okay, in fairness, that was probably a more typical dead battery scenario. It's maybe 45 degrees out, not below freezing as it was that morning. The battery was unable to start the car, but it still had some charge left. I think it got much, much more dead at the campsite on that really cold night. I'm gonna back off on how disappointed I was with it out in the field, because there it worked exactly as they described it as working, about 3 minutes. All right, let's go see what we find out there.
I guess I should explain what we're doing out here. This trip is a little more than just driving and camping in the backcountry. We have undertaken an ambitious expedition to travel more than halfway across the state, from the city of Bend all the way to the Alvord Desert, entirely via dirt roads across public lands. This trek is unrelated to the Oregon Backcountry Discovery Route network you may be familiar with. The route we are on was actually developed by Jason. Last year, he plotted this course and tested it out in segments at different times of the year and in different vehicles. This week, we are out here to run the entire route beginning to end, which Jason has never done. In fact, as far as we know, no one has ever made, or at least documented, this particular voyage. Not a whole lot of significant features in the terrain out here, but I just love this mix of sort of prairie grass and sagebrush and juniper trees spotted here and there. Much of our trip will be an open desert with almost no trees to be seen, so we're taking the opportunity to collect some firewood now, as we've spotted some good deadfall to cut up. Jason's over there doing maintenance on his gas chainsaw. Meanwhile, I'm actually cutting firewood. Whatever. Some of these little back roads through the desert have a lot of exposed rock, and you just have to creep very, very slowly. Well, we are making slow but steady progress across the desert here. We're on the approach to our first sort of point of interest, but I think that'll about wrap it up for this episode. So stay tuned for the next episode and others in the series. We've got some interesting spots to show you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. We were not expecting this.